evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 23rd of September 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The rapporteur for Albania in the European Parliament, Knut Fleckenstein, commented today on the opening of negotiations for Albania. Speaking after his return from a visit to Albania, Mr. Fleckenstein explained that he held discussions to confirm there will be no additional conditions for the opening of negotiations for the EU integration of Albania. No additional conditions. That is the message I left behind when I visited Albania as rapporteur for the European Parliament. Had discussions with the President of the Republic, the President of Parliament, the chairman of political groups, the Ministers of Internal Affairs and Justice, and the ambassadors of the EU member states. The situation of Albania is that if the reforms in the country continue to be pursued, the accession negotiations should be opened in the first half of 2018. The people in Albania hope for it and they deserve it. The opening of negotiations begins a multi-annual process of rapprochement. The duration of the negotiations depends on the implementation of many reforms, but people will see we in the EU want to make progress. It's a hard road, but we will help, wrote the member of European Parliament on his Facebook account. Mr. Fleckenstein visited Albania a few days ago and emphasised the importance of collaboration between the majority and the opposition for the fulfilment of reforms. After the decision by the Democratic Party's chairmanship to make a detailed analysis of the June 25 elections and a tour of consultations, the Democratic Party's chairman held a meeting today with the chairman of the Democratic Party branches. Mr. Basha informed the chairman of the DP branches that the process will pave way to the restructuring of the party. The meeting with the chairman of the DP branches lasted about 90 minutes, widely discussing the analysis of June 25 and the restructuring of the political party. The analysis of the June 25 elections will be different from those the Democratic Party has made following losses in the elections of 2013 and 2015. Some sources told an Aura News journalist that the analysis will start with a tour of hearings with members and with consultative meetings, which will be held in each of the Democratic Party's branches. For this reason, the Democratic Party chairman is expected to issue detailed guidance on how the whole process of analysis and restructuring of the party will be made. After the analysis and the tour of consultations all around the country, the DP chairman is expected to gather the two main forums of the party, the National Council and the National Assembly of the Democratic Party. Also, the chairman of the Democratic Party branches have been informed that a working group will be established for the changes to the statute in order to make it possible for all members of the Democratic Party to have their voices heard. Prime Minister Rama, who is attending the 72nd General Assembly of the United Nations in New York, held a meeting with the General Secretary of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. According to a statement issued by the Prime Minister's press office, the Prime Minister and the UN's General Secretary exchanged views on developmental challenges and stressed the need to coordinate the contributions of all in addressing them. Secretary Guterres congratulated Albania on the integration of sustainable development objectives into the National Development Strategy. The political and security situations of the Western Balkans were also in focus for the meeting. Prime Minister Rama guaranteed that the Albanian government is committed to peace and security, not only in our region, but also on a wider scale. In this regard, Prime Minister Rama underlined that recognition of Kosovo by all countries is a direct contribution to the security and stability of the entire region. Prime Minister Rama also praised the role and contribution of UN agencies in Albania for their assistance with the process of reforms. The Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Dietmar Bushati, who is in the United States to attend the 72nd General Assembly of the United Nations, held a meeting today with representatives of the Albanian Diaspora in New York. The meeting was also attended by the First Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Republic of Kosovo. Minister Bushati expressed his utmost appreciation for Albanians who live in the United States, not only for their contribution to the homeland, but also to the high level of integration into American society. He reaffirmed his full commitment to the deepening collaboration with the diaspora and improving the quality of services offered to them. Minister Bushati spoke of the Albanian government's initiatives to implement a new relationship with Albanians who live abroad, engaging them in the developments of the country, especially in the ministry that he leads. He also highlighted the commitment for the registration of all Albanians who live abroad and to give them the opportunity to vote from wherever they live in the next parliamentary elections of 2021. In this context, the Minister also emphasised the establishment of the State Ministry for Diaspora in the new government, which will bear the responsibility for revitalising relations with diaspora and its active engagement in the economic and social development of the country. State Police have continued with Operation Autumn 2017 for the checking and seizing of luxury vehicles and assets that are suspected to have been bought with profits raised from criminal activities. Today, police conducted a search in Fear where they seized 16 luxury vehicles which are suspected to have been trafficked. 2 people were arrested as a result of the raid, one from Fear and another from Lushnya. According to a police notification, some vehicles have also been taken to the police department for more detailed verification, as well as some citizens being accompanied to the police station for further questioning. Apart from the checking and seizing of vehicles, the police operation also aims at arresting people who have been declared wanted. State Police will continue with their operation for the blocking of trafficked vehicles, hitting criminal gangs hard by seizing assets that have been gained from illegal activities. The former politically persecuted are asking for compensation for the years that they spent in prison during communism. During a protest held today on the 5th anniversary of the death of a former persecuted who set himself on fire, the former persecuted warned they intend to escalate their stance. During the protest, the former politically persecuted also raised some accusations that people who have never been persecuted politically are taking compensation with false claims. The former persecuted announced that they will start a hunger strike. We are asking for improvements to the lives of the formerly persecuted. We will enter a 24-hour hunger strike, they declared. The former politically persecuted are waiting for a reaction from the Prime Minister. Otherwise, they say they will ask for the help of diplomatic representatives. Tirana's City Hall has reconstructed another recreational area for children and the elderly. The park, constructed in collaboration with Raiffeisen Bank, will serve not only as a playground for children of all different ages to enjoy, but also as a space where the elderly can have a good time. The Mayor of Tirana, Erion Veliaj, accompanied by the General Director of the bank, inspected the completed works, emphasising that this is the 24th playground and one of the most beautiful ones realised by the municipality of Tirana in the past 2 years. We have inaugurated some of the playgrounds we have constructed in Tirana, but this is definitely one of the most beautiful ones. It is located in the most important part of the city, behind the pyramid, an iconic building of Tirana. Sometimes we forget that in addition to the bank, the pyramid, the government, there are also residents and people of different age groups, but especially children and retired elderly who do not have a space in this community. Finally, even this part of the community now has a fantastic area, said Veliaj. The Mayor went on to add that, thanks to the vision and work of the municipality of Tirana, as well as various donors, a totally degraded space has turned into a friendly environment for children and their grandparents. Mr. Veliaj said that this is a testament that good things can be done when there is goodwill. We have turned an area totally occupied by waste into an urban jewel of Tirana, said the Mayor. Meanwhile, the General Director of Raiffeisen Bank said that inclusion in such projects is part of the bank's social responsibilities. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.